Okay, so I thought I'd just give people a bit of an update. The previous video was a bit more popular than I thought it would be, so there must be quite a few people interested in these cars. So I thought mine wasn't leaking that much. Main areas for leaking are here, there, and as I mentioned before, somewhere around the wing mirrors. So one of the fixes you can do is pull back this trim, and then you put something underneath it. I use double-sided tape, but obviously the side facing this particular seal, I kept the tape on it so it's not sticky, and that brings out the seal more, so when it meets the window, as you can see on the top of the wing mirror, it has a stronger connection. That didn't really do much. You've also got a drainage hole in there, you can see it there, so I've opened that up, but again that didn't do much either. And then finally there is a split from where these two pieces of car join, the wing mirror to the actual door, and that can also sometimes cause water ingress, which ultimately comes all the way down your speaker and onto the floor. But I did all of those and it didn't work. And then I also found out when I left the car out overnight that it was leaking from both the rear sections of the door as well. So what it does is it comes down, I'll get inside quickly. Ooh, sorry about that. And it leaks down there, all the way down there, and then rests in there. So that was irritating. And there are lots of fixes you can do for these things, but it's kind of a bit MacGyver-y and I'm not that interested. So there's a guy on the Facebook group that makes covers called Humphrey. And I bought one of his covers, 125 quid. You take off this front bar, it kind of goes into the bottom here, it runs along there, it goes into the front of the other bar, so it doesn't flap up at the front at all. It comes back, I think he calls it a wing back cover, and then a little toggle goes into this side, and then one into this side, and then you don't get any leaks at all. So I've just decided, instead of doing some dodgy rubbish fixes, I'm going to do that to the car. When the car was taken to the garage to have the air compressor changed for the air conditioning system, it was found that the suction pipe was also broken. So that was a bit of a bummer. So I'm going to get that fixed, and when that's done, the air conditioning will be sorted. My old dash camera was actually draining the battery, so I had an old dash camera. I've got a new one now, and that was about 4 or 5 years old, and it's actually now out of production and out of support, but it was top of the range at the time, and I realised that was draining my battery through a process of elimination. I've got a little Bluetooth monitor on the battery, and unplugged that, and it was killing half the battery overnight, so got a new one of those in, and that's now resolved that problem. The rear left light started to leak. It was already broken. There's a pin that kind of sits like that, and you put it into the female part of the connection on the inside of the car, and that keeps it in place. But I think as a part of whoever broke it before, when I was washing the car, there was some moisture coming in around the headlight, so I've got a new headlight on its way. Oh, sorry, rear light. So that should be sorted, but that's a bit of a bummer. What are the other problems? Oh, dash cam. The paintwork is not as good as I would have liked. It's what you'd expect for a 14-year-old car. So when you look at it like this, it looks really, really good. But when you get up close, there you go. Loads of paint chips all over it. And some very bad gravel rash. Oh, I don't know if it will come up. Where is it? Oh, there we go. Hopefully that's coming out, but you can see it all there. And that's the same on both sides. So I'm not sure, there you go. So I'm not sure if I'm going to respray the whole car or not, because it's 1,800 quid on a 5.5 grand car, 6 grand car. I'm not sure if it's worth it. This is coming off. I'll do that myself. I just hope it's not hiding anything stupid underneath it, but I think that's just because the guy was going full carbon fibre, because he's got a horrible carbon fibre wrap. And then, where is it? A little carbon fibre badge thing. So I'm going to take that off. But yeah, the front half of the car's not in the best of shape. I think what I'll probably do is get it detailed and then assess it again and leave it at that. It's a lot more practical than I thought it would be, so I've done a week's food shopping with my for my family, so that's me, my wife and my daughter, and also for my sister. So that's 4 people's shopping, all in that boot. It was absolutely brilliant. I was really, really surprised by that. It's still a huge amount of fun to drive. As I mentioned before, the suspension is extremely firm. Extremely firm. It's nothing like my Lotus. The Lotus was very supple and very progressive damping on it. So when you're going around corners, it was really, really good. Whereas this is flat, but it's flat and very firm, and it feels like a sucker punch to the kidneys when you go over some bumps, but it does make the handling really good. So again, I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that yet. So overall, I'm still really enjoying it. I think what some people probably want to know is how much it's cost me so far. So I bought the car for about just over 5.5. I spent $895 on fixing the essentials. So that's things like the water pump and the water leak or coolant leak, depending on who you talk to, and coolant pump, on having to put a new battery in, on the alternator, and all the other things I mentioned previously. But then on other stuff, which is just things like the flappy paddles, remap, putting the new head unit in, all the stuff that I didn't need to do. The air conditioning, arguably, some people would say you need that, some people you don't. That lot cost me £1,431. So that's just over £2,000 all in. Since I've owned it, just in kind of getting it ready and getting it sorted. But the nice thing is now, once I've got the air conditioning done, which is happening next week, the car's done. I just need to decide if I want to change the suspension and if I want to paint it or not. I'm just not sure. If anyone's wondering, that on there is a rubber, well, it's not rubber, it's foam. So when I open the car door, doesn't damage the door. But yeah, overall, it's a fantastic car still. I'll probably do an update after I've had it for about a year, just to see if I still feel that way. But it's been reliable ever since I've had those few things changed, and it does get driven pretty much daily. At the moment, obviously, it's tucked away with everyone being at home, and there's no reason to use it at the moment. So yeah, just thought I'd give everyone an update, give an idea of how much I spent. It gives you an idea really of just how expensive these things are. But now I'm hoping it should be very reliable. Most people do seem to have quite reliable ones. They just need looking after and taking care of. So fingers crossed. Ever since I had the initial fixes done, it hasn't caused me any problems at all. So yeah, just a bit of an update for you. Cheers.